Alright, it's official. I quit my Big Four job. Unlike most other people, I quit in less than a year, and honestly, it wasn't even a hard decision to make. So I broke this down into 3 parts: why I quit, what I learned during my 11-12 months, and what I'm gonna do next. To give you a background, I graduated back in December 2020 with a computer information systems degree, and 2 months before I graduated, I received a full-time job offer from one of the Big Four accounting firms. My start date was in August, so from December to August, I was just chilling and mentally so relaxed because I had a full-time job lined up and it was months away. In mid-September, the busy season started for us IT auditors, and we were required to work at least 50 hours per week, but many people worked a lot more. It wasn't that bad in the beginning since it wasn't close to our client's year end, so the workload and people's stress levels hadn't started to get crazy yet. But when November and December came around, things started to change. Seniors and managers were constantly working and they were always online at night. People were stressed all the time and hated their work. The worst part about all of this was it was normal for everyone. So working 60 to 70 hours on average was normal, which made zero sense to me. I was constantly telling myself that I have a life outside of work, unlike these people. I don't have kids that I have to look after, but I have my own personal life. Whether it be working out, jiu-jitsu, hanging out with my friends, or working on my personal projects. Even though people at Big Four were preaching balancing personal life and busy season, what they were saying sounded funny to me. Because they were saying things like work all day long, and if you need to take a time off during the day, take the time, and you can compensate for that later at night or on the weekend. I was always like, come the on. I'm already working 50 to 60 hours per week and you want me to work on the weekend as well. So things like that, the stress of the workload and the idea of working more than 40 hours and that being normal for everyone made me decide to quit my job. During my 1 year at the firm, I learned a lot. With this being my first full-time job, I guess it's normal that I learned so much. First and foremost, I learned that audit and public accounting was not for me at all. Like I said, hours and the workload made me decide that public accounting was definitely not for me. And I just didn't like how auditors were treated by clients, i.e. most of the time clients were annoyed at the meetings because you're asking them the same questions every year and you have to. The second thing I learned during my time at Big Four is working in a team is a skill. Obviously this is not specific to Big Four, but since it was my first full-time job, I learned this at Big Four as well. I've had internships and school projects where I worked in teams, but working full-time is much different than others. You have a lot more responsibility, and if you constantly mess up something, there might be consequences. Similar to working in a team, another thing that I learned at Big Four is you can't take negative comments or anything personally. That happened to me once when I got a negative message from one of my managers, and I was so mad after that. I explained it in my Advice for Aspiring Auditors video, so make sure to check that out. After some time, I realized that I just can't take those comments personally. It might be hard sometimes and might require some practice, but it's important for our mental health that we don't take anything personally at work. Before getting my offer as an IT audit associate, I didn't know if I wanted to do that for work after I graduated. But since I had the offer and it was from a Big Four firm, I stopped applying to other companies and other roles. Because I was thinking no matter what the role is, after having Big Four on my resume, the doors will open up. Turns out it wasn't really the case because I was trying to go into another industry. If I was applying to other IT audit or audit roles, I would have gotten an offer much quicker. But since I didn't want anything to do with audit or accounting, it took some time and effort to land my current job, which was a data analyst role. I'm gonna make a video about how I transitioned from IT audit to data analysis, but here I'll briefly talk about the things I did to land my data analyst job. I thought getting a job as a data analyst would make sense to me because I had a degree in computer information systems and I took Python, SQL, and data analysis classes, so I wasn't a stranger to the field. But I wasn't sure if I should join a bootcamp or not. Since I knew the basics of data analysis, I thought I could land a job without a bootcamp with an effort obviously, which I'm gonna explain in a later video. Long story short, after recruiting for about 2 months, I landed a data analyst job at a healthcare analytics company. And now I can call myself a data analyst when people ask what I do, instead of trying to explain them what IT audit is. If you enjoyed this video and want to know what I did day to day as an IT auditor, you can watch this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.